Feel like your speech still doesn't sound natural? Here are a couple strategies that you can use to help sound more native-like. Hey guys, this is Jeff with Fluent American, and we're focusing on ways to help connect your speech in a way that will sound more natural. We're going to be focusing on an aspect of language called thought groups. If you're not sure what thought groups are, you can see some of our previous videos on that. But a quick rundown. Thought groups are places where you can pause naturally in a sentence. Think about it. When you're talking, you need a place where you can breathe, or a place where you can think about what you want to say next. That's what thought groups are. They're places where you pause. Now, thought groups are going to depend on a variety of factors. You know, if you're giving a presentation, you may have more thought groups than if you're having a conversation with a friend. Also, different native speakers are going to have different natural tendencies. Basically, this is very subjective. I can't tell you the places where you should put a thought group. I can tell you the places where I would put a thought group or where I think a thought group will occur naturally. But again, for different people, it will always be different. All that said, we're not focusing as much on thought groups today as we are on ways to link them together to help you sound more native-like. The first strategy I have is going to be tying the last sound of one thought group to the start of the next thought group. How can you do that? Well, this can be done in one of two ways. If the previous thought group ends on a consonant sound and the next thought group starts with a vowel sound, attach that consonant onto the vowel. To give you an example, I met him at the store. I met him at the store. Notice the linking there between him and at the store. Him at the store. Him at the store. What you're doing is you're attaching that M sound on him onto the vowel sound of at. Him at the store. Him at the store. So it almost sounds like you're saying him at. Him, Matt. Almost like it sounds like you're saying Matt, right? Him at the store. This linking is going to really help join your thought groups together in a way that sounds more natural. This obviously can't always apply though. Sometimes you have a thought group that ends on a consonant and the next one starts with a consonant as well. Well, if it's the same consonant, what you can do is just pronounce that sound once. Let's take a look at our example sentence and change it a little bit. I met him Monday. I met him Monday. Notice here I have this thought group between him and Monday. So what I'm going to do, because him ends on an M sound and Monday starts with an M sound, I'm going to join them together. I'm just going to pronounce one M. I met him Monday. I met him Monday. So again, notice all I'm doing is I'm pronouncing one M sound and I'm holding it a little bit longer. How would this sound if I didn't have that connection? I met him Monday. I met him Monday. That's a little hard to say, right? I met him Monday. I met him Monday. I need to breathe in between the M's. And that's really hard to do. So this connection is just going to help you sound more natural, a little smoother. You'll keep your sentence flowing. I met him Monday. I met him Monday. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. In a related note to this, you can also use some held sounds or stop sounds. Now, if you're not sure what a held sound is, here's a video that you can check out on the held T. But basically what you're doing is you're holding the breath by tightening your throat and your chest to not let the air out. To give you an example, it's the difference between saying cut and cut. Same word, but the second one's going to have a held sound. Held sounds are going to be very common for letters like T, D, B, and a couple of others. And again, to produce it, all you do is kind of tighten your throat and your chest to not let the air escape. It's tricky, it takes some time, that's why I really would encourage you to take a look at our video on it. But in terms of connecting thought groups, this is going to be a very common strategy when one thought group ends on a consonant sound and the next thought group starts with a consonant sound. For example, I took the train. I took the train. Notice I have two thought groups, I took and then the train. Took ends on a K sound. The starts with a T sound. I took the train. So instead of saying I took the train, I took the train, what I can do to help link them together a little bit more naturally would be to use a held sound. I took the train. Let's compare them again. So the first time I will say it without a held sound, and the second time I will say it with a held sound. I took the train versus I took the train. I took the train versus I took the train. So again, this step where again, one thought group ends on a consonant, next one starts with a consonant, you can join them together by using a held consonant, and what it's going to do is it's going to help link the two thought groups together a little bit more naturally. Pay attention to this in things like movies or the news or whatever you're listening to in English, and I think you're going to hear native speakers using this a lot. Hey guys, really quick, if you want more practice like this and feedback on your pronunciation, you should join our Telegram group. Find out more information at patreon.com/fluentamerican. Another bonus way to join thought groups together a little bit more naturally would be to hold the last vowel sound longer. For example, look at our previous sentence. I took the train. I took the train. So maybe, for instance, I'm trying to remember, what did I do? How did I get there? Oh yeah, I took the train. I took the train. I took the train. So by holding that last syllable, holding that notice I'm just holding it longer, right? Hold it as long as you need to get to your next thought group. But by holding it longer, it shows a couple of things. One, it shows you're not done talking. Two, it shows that the person should be listening for what you're going to say next. And it can also demonstrate that you're thinking about what you want to say. What I see with a lot of my students is they tend to end words too quickly. Lots of people are rushing vowel sounds. Lots of people are rushing their words. And fluency isn't necessarily about speed. You can have a situation where a native speaker speaks slowly, but with these types of linking involved, it can sound more natural. To give you an example, let's take a quick look at a dialogue. I'm going to point out some parts for you that demonstrate all of these tools being used, and that also demonstrate that fluency isn't necessarily about speed.
And I think figuring out the cost of my labor and
He's a designer by trade, but his side gig is being a financial coach. He's a designer by trade, but his side gig is being a financial coach.
Have other questions for me about linking and connected speech? Be sure to leave a comment.